Good morning, Sam.
Good evening, Mallory.
And mensore to the Nobody Leaves podcast, the podcast where we talk all about Samurai Champloo this week because I made Sam watch all 26 episodes of it on a very short, limited schedule. Crammed a lot of Samurai Champloo hours logged for both of us this week. And while he was watching it, I have been traveling, visiting the Ryukyu Islands, aka Okinawa. And I got this stupid tourist flower from it.
Hell
and
yeah.
We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about culture. We're going to be talking about Japanese history. We're going to be talking about politics. We're going to be talking about fusions of art, forms of resistance and oppression that spread across all different time periods and contexts. And if you're like, hey, that's a little anachronistic, we say, screw it. What do you think you're watching? This is Samurai Champloo podcast.
Mallory, I think I know
excited.
a lot about the Edo period now. Like, I did not realize that there were people acting as, Greek choirs, beatboxing and telling of local legends. I didn't know that baseball saved Japan. I didn't know that graffiti and tagging started in Edo, Japan, but now I know, and I take all things that I consume at face value, so my opinion flip-flops no matter what's on the TV, and that's my opening statement here. Samurai Champloo, unbelievable. I cannot believe you maybe watched 26 episodes in a week. This deserves to be savored. This deserves to be like, you gotta watch one episode and kind of like drink like a whiskey and like think about it, or maybe have some plum wine or some sake and just really like let it wash over you, right? Like, this is a vibes show, and so it was a little hard to binge, but also I couldn't stop watching.
It's so entertaining. It makes me so happy. I haven't watched it in such a long time, and I really, really enjoyed it. It left a really good impact on me, and I think because it's so episodic, I would always just like revisit specific episodes again and again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've watched like the baseball episode a ton of times. I've watched the I'll save my favorite episode for like the reveals, because I feel like that. I don't know.
Important question. No, I want to. Yeah, let's hold those for a minute, because I have some thoughts.
But yeah, just in terms of my history with the show, like I've rewatched my favorite episode, things like that over the years. But yeah, sitting down and watching the whole thing again, I think it's actually been about 10 years. I think I was in my freshman year of college, maybe, or
So
it was
I
in
remember
the summer.
timeline, if you want help.
I was at home. Oh, I'm so curious. Okay.
So, freshman year of college, we were roommates, and I shared with you many anime. I think some of which have come up in this podcast already, but like you watched Psycho Pass, and you watched Monogatari, and you watched Cowboy Bebop, and you watched Steins Gate. And often the case was that you would watch these things, and then you'd go even further past me. So, like, you watched Bebop, and I remember you were obsessed with Bebop, and you went along and watched Kids on the Slope, and you watched Samurai Champloo, and I did not. I had not seen either of those shows, and until last week, I had not seen Samurai Champloo at all. But you kept going, and then you watched.
Yeah, I remember that
Carol
was
and
one where.
and other.
Yeah, and I watched
Watanabe
Carol and
projects.
Tuesday as well. And I got really mad about them not being lesbians in love. And you were like, it's not that big of a deal, Mallory. Don't worry about it.
I said this is a poor show, but otherwise.
But I was, yeah, I remember Samurai Champloo specifically because you showed me a ton of anime that year while we were rooming together, and then I went home and was on Netflix on my phone in the darkness of my room watching episodes of Samurai Champloo like during the summer. It was very, very good, and it has always had a really strong space in my heart. Sam, if we're entering the gush zone, the zone where we gush about everything that we love.
Yes, of course.
Oh,
sponsored
yes.
by Gushers, only still into my gush inside. But put a pin in that. That's a good summer, right? Because I know what you were doing that summer as well. So, it's like 12 hours of Pokemon Go during the day, and then just watching Samurai Champloo at night. Like, that's the dream. How do we get back there,
Yeah. That
That's
was
when
a
you were at
time.
your most happy and successful, I think.
That was a pretty extreme time for me. It was a time of extremes.
It was a time of
um,
extremes. It was much
that was
emotion,
that was a
much culture.
summer of my life. But yeah, I think if we're entering the Gush Zone, sponsored by Gushers, unleash the unstoppable flavor inside. I think that one of the things that I like this so much, and I was gonna bring up like this inspiring like art that I create.
Mm-hmm.
This series to me perfects the thing that I talk about. I've brought it up when we talk about Deltarune. I brought it up when we talk about like Naruto. I bring it up when we talk about even Pluribus.
Mm-hmm.
Two characters. They represent two opposite philosophical things. They're foils, if you will,
I
and they're
understand.
just and they're different. And whenever they interact and clash, the ideals and all the themes and stuff are also
You like when
clashing.
two characters are different and drama ensues.
I like when red, crazy, blue,
Calm.
calm.
Yeah.
Red, talk a lot. Blue, don't even talk. When I see that, I just and I don't know what that is, but it's all I want out of fiction. It's the best thing ever. And it's to me this series just nails that concept so perfectly. Both of these characters are so consistently well written. I just love them. I love Mugen. I love Jin. They're very
You have
good.
the breakdancing samurai who fights as much with his sandals as he does his swords, and then you have the calm, collected master of a single technique, Jin, but also he wears glasses, and I can appreciate that because that must be a pain in the ass in that time period.
Which also one of the best reveals about Jin is like
He doesn't
it's
need
like
them.
it's like episode 18 and they're like, yeah, you know those glasses are fake. He's like, what? And then you think back to all the times like there were early episodes where the glasses get taken off or fall off and you're like, oh no, is
They
Jin gonna be
pawn the
like,
glasses and it's a big deal, and you're like, wait a
yeah,
minute, but they weren't a big deal. It was never a big deal.
is he gonna be blind in this encounter? And that he never is, and it's like never a problem for him. Extremely funny. Yeah, I don't know. And I mean, like, much has been made. You can probably find like 700,000 people on the internet talking about this intro. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's just without any dialogue. Rooster, crazy guy going like this and going like that.
Sure.
And then fish, and then the guy just goes, just straight line.
Yes.
Oh,
Go with the
it just
flow.
it makes my head spin. It makes my knees
And
weak.
then sunflowers. Don't forget sunflowers.
And then
Or like
sunflowers and
praying
Foo.
mantis. Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite character
Foo.
of the trio, Foo. I really enjoy her. Just like grounded in reality and just a normal person. Usually just being like just like interacting with these two freaks of nature that are like really cool movie characters and really poorly equipped for like any day-to-day
any
situation.
any like tiny bit of tack. Like I feel like the show plays with what you expect with this trio dynamic in the beginning because you expect it to be Mugen gets the other two characters into trouble often, but more often it's Mugen gets them into trouble and Jin also gets them into trouble. Like it's the doubling down which makes just such great comedy where Fu's like, well surely Jin's more respectable and he will like he will bail me out of the situation or he will agree with me, and then he usually like he's closer to Mugen than you first expect in a ways that are very 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 entertaining. I
They're just both they're so extreme they can never deviate from their values. So
Yes.
like if they're in any given situation, they're going to lean cartoonishly extreme into their personality.
Yes,
Like
100%. They
yeah.
can't turn down a fight ever. They can't turn down a meal ever. They will throw away their, like Jin will throw away his morals and his righteousness as a Ronin samurai man to eat another piece of fish or to like go to a prostitute. And it's good comedy. I
Absolutely. Yeah. Please go.
I can't help but compare this to Cowboy Bebop for obvious reasons because
Of
I've
course.
spent the last decade dodging this show and dodging almost everything about it. I've heard a little bit of the music, I'm aware of the now famous figure of like Nujibi's rest in peace. Like, I'm aware of like the Samurai Champloo aesthetic, the winning combination of like hip hop and clashing samurai swords in like feudal Japan, and how that is like the most unexpected peanut butter and chocolate to ever happen, right? Where it's like, this just works, and it works immediately, and everyone knows it works, and like, it's magic. Like, you can have, and we'll get into this a little bit with some of the criticisms, but like, you can have 10 episodes that are basically the same episode, because that formula is so winning that it doesn't matter. Like, that those
Yeah.
like breakbeats start, and I'm like leaning forward in my seat, and I'm like, okay, let's go. But comparing it to Bebop, right? So like, I watched Bebop, I really liked Bebop. That was a decade ago, and I was always like, I'm a save Champloo, because everyone says it's almost as good or it's just as good as Bebop. It's his other masterpiece, right? Talking about Shinichirō Watanabe, the director, and I saved it. It's like, that's a rainy day anime, and I have a few of those where it's like, I know I'm gonna love this, but I'll leave it. I'll let it find me at some point. And then 10 years go by, and I can't believe I've been depriving myself of this series for a decade, because it's so good. This is the best thing
So
I've watched
cool.
in forever. Um, Comparing it to Bebop, the thing that surprised me is, and things I like about it compared to that series, is like, I like that we have the trio immediately. There's no like building of the team. There's no waiting 8 episodes to get Ed. You know, like, we have Fu,
Right.
Jin, and Mugen right off the bat, and they pretty much established Fu as the main character like immediately, right? Like, I think the majority of the
Hmm.
Fu episodes happen in those first like 10, and I think that's a really
Yeah.
great. She's such a great like grounding character, like you said, to play off of these two chaotic, morally questionable men.
Yeah, just like socially inept. I mean, that to me is the best way to describe them, is they're movie characters and she is a real person trying to
Yes.
interact with them. Like, like Jin is every like action hero that's stoic, like,
Hmm.
for better or worse, like in any situation.
No,
And
he is like the man with no name. He is like a Clint Eastwood Western cowboy, or a
yes,
righteous Kurosawa samurai. Like, he is all the tropes, but to dialed up to like 12, and it's great.
absolutely. It works so well. I think she's such an important force in this series. Like, you can't get a lot of the humor that you get out of these characters without
Hmm.
her. I was trying to, like, I didn't want to get too in the weeds. I mean, I've had, like, as I said, at least like 10 years to have opinions about this series.
I'm
So I don't.
fresh. I finished it yesterday, so like,
Yeah,
hit me.
I didn't want to get too in the weeds, but I was like, I was curious, like, what is discourse about it? Are people still talking about it this
Hmm.
long on? Like, I think when I was getting into it was like the 2010s, and this came out in like the late 90s, or like early, like
Came
2004,
out
I think.
2004.
Yeah, so 2004. I'm watching it in like 2015, so that's like 10 years later, and people are talking about it. I'm like, where is it 20 years later? Try to click it. First video is a click on, the guy's like, Mugen is so cool and Jin is so cool and Finn and Fu is fucking stupid. I hate her. I'm like,
I
well, you don't understand what you've just watched at all. Your media comprehension, like,
I
you
suspect
can't.
that that was a take that was popular at the time, and that there are
Mm.
people who are in their 40s now who have that same opinion. Like, and I get it. I have liked another Jin episode? Probably. But I think that there's a
Mm.
great balance between the three, right? Like, you can't. Jin is funny in he's funny in like absence. He's funny in how little you get of him, right? Like, he can't give you too much, or else it kind of breaks the character, because you're always a little bit unsure how he's going to react. And by keeping him shrouded in
Hmm.
mystery, like, it works really well for the drama. It works really well for the comedy. He can't be the one giving like long exposition and long like, you need
Right.
Fu to like interact with the weirdos of the given episode, so that Jin and Mugen can have a more extreme but faster, more violent reaction later. And I really like her as the driving force of this series, right? Like, she is chaotic in her own way, in the sense that she's willing to take these two people and herself on a very dangerous journey that seemingly has no purpose, and
Mm.
is so it like what a tagline. We're looking for the samurai who smells of sunflowers.
Just
Just money. Like,
the,
oh, it's so good. Like, what does that mean? Sunflowers don't have a smell. Like, what like
and when they bring that up so deep, and you're like,
uh-huh.
oh yeah, I have been in a field of sunflowers before, and I did not notice a distinct smell.
It's such
You
like
know?
a bullshit quest, like right from the jump. Like, and
Mm.
Mugen and Jin continuously comment on the fact that she won't give them any information, that this idea, this like any breadcrumbs that they're following is based on like super unreliable information, and they have this journey is like doomed from the start. Like, there's no
Mm.
way they're going to find this person, and there's no no guarantee of payoff, right, in terms of like what they're doing. And I think that is thematically relevant to the series, right? Like, obviously it's a little cliche to say it's about the journey, not the destination, but they pull off that cliche really well, where it, by the time they get to the islands and Fu is really holding back even more than before, and really like dragging her feet on them actually reaching their destination, you get it, because like they've become friends, even though they won't say it until the final moments of the show. Like, all of that really worked for me. I think it's really, really well paced if you're willing to like give yourself over to it.
Mm.
If this is maybe the worst anime to be like, I'm just waiting for the plot developments, and why hasn't they said anything about the samurai with who smells of sunflowers for it's been 5 episodes. When are they going to make progress on the samurai? It isn't about that. It's about walking across Japan and meeting weirdos like every episode.
Absolutely. And this is why I love this series, and also Cowboy Bebop, is because I am generally extremely fond of episodic shows. I love
Mm-hmm.
that as like a art format. I love like or like a medium of like storytelling. I love like having a set of characters, and then you can just throw them in different situations. Like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
this episode's about graffiti. Where would Jin be on this issue? Where would Mugen be in this issue? This episode's about baseball. How would the characters interact to like that situation, you know? Um this episode is about giving like a foreigner like a tour of like Tokyo's like things, and he has like no idea what's going on. Like, how does Jim react to that? How does Mugen react to that? How does Fu react to that? Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's like that format of storytelling is my favorite thing. I love getting to know characters, feeling like the character's a person, uh having themes developed through like a bunch of little mini stories that are disconnected that could be shuffled around. Like, all that stuff makes me extremely happy, and I am glad that this show and Cowboy Bebop to me are like that concept taken to a tank, because it's so common in
Mm-hmm.
like your SpongeBob's, or your like, you can have that degree where it's like, okay, this is a show that goes on ad infinitum. I'm like, these
Right.
shows are like a perfect balance of like, there is a beginning and an end, there is an overarching goal and plot. Occasionally you'll get those little breadcrumbs of like, this is the bigger thing going on, and every time you get a breadcrumb you're like, holy shit, or does this mean like,
Right.
one random dude being like, yeah, sunflowers were imported in this area. It's like, and like, is that really a lead, or like, but it ends up helping them, and it's like,
The pace is just
I,
really well
I
paced.
like that.
Like
Yeah,
26 is the perfect number for this series. Even
absolutely.
if I may have some episodes I don't like. It very rare though. It you feel these 3 characters coming together, pulling apart, and then coming together tighter than before, like as you go along, and you get just enough about what's going on in the background with the shogunate, and you get just enough about who this person might be, to feel satisfied that there is. To me, I was like dreading getting to the finale, because I could feel like I could feel what Fu was feeling, right? Of like, this journey's going to end and I'm never going to see these two people again. This trio is never going to be together
Yeah.
again. And that's on top of like the impression. The show gives a great impression of this destination is not going to be satisfying for Fu without outright spoiling what's going to happen at the end. And then when you get to that final conversation between Fu and the samurai, you I don't think you're surprised, but you're still hit with just waves of like melancholy. And I see the term bittersweet thrown around a lot about this series. And I kind of have heard that through the grapevine over the years. I thought for sure we were going to get an even sadder ending than we got. Like, I did not think
Yes.
Jin and Mugen were going to be making it through this series. And that also is partially because of how Bebop is and how Bebop ends, right? Like, Bebop has its own whammy ending.
Yeah.
But
I would say,
really, yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
No, continue.
You think it was really...
I think it worked really well. Like, I love the ending to the series, like, so much.
I'm very glad to hear that. That is like probably amongst the most discussed things of this series, because I think like episodes that you'll forget details. I forgot about the blind samurai who fights with, which is crazy because she's really cool and this is a cool episode and everything. But like completely was gone from my mind in the 10-year gap. But like you don't forget the finale of this series. And it is like amongst the most like, if you're trying to get karma on your fucking Samurai Champloo Reddit post, the two things you're like, why are they looking for a samurai with sunflowers? What does that even mean? And the other one is
that's bait.
Say that like they should have died in the ending, basically, because that's what happened in Cowboy Bebop,
right.
And you get that vibe the entire time, but it's a different show, and I think Cowboy Bebop
the things
is
I
a
like
show about...
the most about this show is how it differs from Bebop. But yeah, continue.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like Cowboy Bebop is a show about running away from your past, so it ends with him not running away from his past and confronting it and potentially seemingly dying from that. And this is not a show about running away from your past as much as it is about like finding purpose. You know, like the past keeps showing up to haunt them, but they're not necessarily abandoning responsibility as much as they are just trying to figure out like what are they even doing on this earth. You know, I think that is what it is. And by the end of the series, they have purpose and they have like grown in ways. Like Jin understands what friendship is now and he can make friends, and Mugen has like basically the same lesson, but Mugen has like tempered his thing of like the point of life is not to prove that I'm the strongest. Like they're understanding the loss of violence and like not necessarily seeking
Mugen's
that
not
out
the most
actively.
verbose character, right? Like he's not going to come out right and say what he's thinking and how he's feeling.
Right.
But the decision he makes to turn down a fight with the ultimate badass in favor of going to save Fu it speaks volumes without saying anything, right? Like it is a choice that I couldn't have seen him making even 5 episodes prior. But I think that it feels earned by the time you get there.
Absolutely, because they really hit you with these like character development, like time after time, and we're gonna start getting to the weeds. But like, there's the episode where he fights Sara.
Sara is, I think, the key to all of this. Is that 2-parter? I think that is when the show starts to transition from episodic, like we can have the characters kind of do anything. They can be fighting this episode. They can be friends this episode. It doesn't really matter. To like, oh, we're progressing towards the end, and they have become closer, and that is stressful to Fu, and she does seem to be kind of falling in love with these two people. Whether it's platonic or not is up to debate or what have you. I think there's interesting things not said in the finale, particularly about her and Jin and Mugen. But yeah, I think it's part like that. From that point, that 2-parter, even though there's some silly stuff to still come, like the zombie episode or the baseball episode, you can feel them starting to set the stage for that finale in a way that I think pays off really, really well.
Yeah, definitely. That is like when the downhill of like the roller coaster kind of begins. It's like, okay, we're getting off of this ride. Like,
We're not going to have another episode where they break up as friends and then come back together by the end, because it wouldn't feel
yes,
appropriate at that point, because they're past that, right? Like they've grown up a little
absolutely.
bit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, but yeah, for like Mugen's character arc, I feel like it's her, and I feel like prior to her, it's also the Ainu man. I keep
Hmm.
forgetting his name as well, but he has like the long hair. They like confront him in like the woods, and he's like everyone blamed him for like burning down his own village and like
Hmm.
killing his own family when it was really like the government guy trying to like cover his ass or whatever. Um, like those two are like fights where Mugen specifically is seeking out, like he just wants to fight the strongest person,
Hmm.
and he doesn't get what he want. Like he doesn't get what he wants. Like in Sarah's case, she like holds back, and in like the Ainu guy's face, he is like killed before Mugen. Like they're supposed to be on the same side, and he ends up being killed, or Mugen doesn't believe he's dead, but whatever. But like
Right.
he I think in those moments the feeling he is like realizing is like, oh, I'm like just seeing everyone as like a threat, as like another person I gotta like knock off so that I can maintain my status as number one. And
Hmm.
I'm getting hit with all these, I'm relating to these people and getting hit with all these complex emotions all of a sudden. Um and yeah, so then he has that moment. He also has, everyone points out in the finale, but it's like he does strategy stuff, like he
For the
plans to
first time
like,
ever, it's not
yeah,
just
like he,
instinct.
yeah, like he plans for the guy to like knock down the entire building, and he
Hmm.
like, you know, tricks the other guy to blow himself up or whatever. So he's thinking with his brain. Meanwhile, Jin does the reckless thing and like does the, if you ever use this move, you'll freaking die. This is the best. I love
It's
that.
great.
This,
That's all you need.
when your samurai master is like, never use this move because if you use it, you'll die as well. But you can kill any opponent.
It yes,
So good.
and then it works, and he survives. And
Yeah.
maybe Jin should have died. Like maybe I could see some strong arguments for that would be a more complete moment for his character arc. But I like that
Mm.
I like that they're all at the crosswalk at the end. I I I
Yeah.
I like what I like. It the Mugen piece to me is like it's very, what you said about him being denied constantly, I think is very
Yeah.
accurate, right? Where like he loses to Sarah, right? Like Sarah holds back, and that's what allows him to defeat her, because and he is completely unsatisfied by that conclusion, right? And then the episode ends. Like it is such a dramatic
Yes.
like there is no resolution here. Like they could not save her from this situation, and he could not defeat her in an honorable way, or in a way that makes him know that he surpassed her in skill level. When the ultimate badass in the finale is recruited by the shogunate and says like, oh well, if they killed Sarah, they must be pretty strong. It's like they didn't even kill Sarah, and now they're gonna have to fight this guy who's more strong than Sarah. Like
Mm.
it for Mugen, it is so, it's like the worst possible ending for like that ending, and the guy who falls off the cliff on fire. um he doesn't get a chance to like finish, like his battle is constantly interrupted, and he doesn't get a chance to prove himself to be, the strongest. And he's seeming, between those two situations, like one he's more satisfied with, one he's more upset by. But these both lead him to that decision point in the finale, the final three, of going to save
Yeah.
Fu, and being
No, and then
annoyed that he has
they
to fight the guy with the sickle instead of excited about it.
totally, yeah, and they also lead into the point where he doesn't have to fight and kill Jin anymore. You know, like because he's recognized that like there are different things that you can value and get out of people that are powerful other than just besting them by through murder like this.
Hmm.
You know,
Well, and by keeping
insane
Jin
character
alive,
arc
like it
where,
makes them both stronger, right? Because they both have
yeah,
they've gained a different kind of strength,
yeah, they learn from each other and they
including Jin
learn from
being
the
willing to
opposite
stab
things.
himself.
Jin Jin learns to like open up his heart, and like
Yep.
he has his character reveal. Jin's awesome. I think we kind of have we're gonna bounce back through all the three characters again. We kind of talked about
Hmm.
Fu a bit, and then we kind of talked about Mugen a bit. I think we gotta hit Jin again. I think the writing of the way he doesn't emote and talk is really well
Hmm.
written. It's really consistent. He feels like such a real person. Um, he won't respond like if you talk to him, he will not respond unless he feels like it's necessary to. Like he'll just like if
Hmm.
he doesn't feel whatever you said is like boring to him. And then he'll just only chime in when he's like, "This is incorrect. This is not how the samurai way." Um, and then like, but they never, the whole thing is like they have this thing where like they're kind of snooping on each other's like backstories without ever wanting to directly come out and ask it.
Right.
That
Like, Jin, why are you being hunted by your old dojo? Why'd you kill your old master? Fu, who is the samurai who smells of
yeah,
sunflowers to you? Mugen, how bad is your past? And then like his campfire reveal is just it's something you already knew in your heart, which is like, of course he would piss off the shogunate because he doesn't care about any of these things. Like he pisses off everyone as he lives and breathes. All he does is go around making enemies.
yeah. No, it's like I think that the like but there's episodes where like there's the one where Jin and Mugen are like reading Fu's diary. So like there's
Yes.
episodes where they team up to find out about her. There's episodes like Mugen's backstory episode with the pirates, like is just Fu and Jin like sitting on the beach like talking about it. And then there's like Mugen and Fu being like, how do we figure stuff out? And then they finally just like directly ask him like, hey man, what's your backstory? He's like, it's like it began in the temple. I never had any friends. They all hated me. I killed my master. It's just so good. It's like, and you kind of almost get the feeling of like, I wonder if he would have just said that in episode 2 if you asked him. Like,
I
even though it is like a revelation of the depth of their friendship, he probably wouldn't have. But
I don't think he
you
would
know what
have
I mean?
because
Like,
there's a one-off episode where someone is hunting Jin. I cannot quite remember the details, and Fu
mhm.
learns that Jin killed his master, and she's
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
"What's that about?" And then there's they don't he doesn't respond, and there's no conclusion to that in that episode. It's just like a detail about Jin that you learn, which like gives you some insight into why he's willing to travel with these two people and why he is a wandering ronin, which is like a samurai without a lord. Um,
Hmm.
and it's just it's hype. These are just really cool things, and we haven't even started talking about the music because all of this is set to an incredible like the invention of lo-fi in the series basically. Like I know that I don't want to just keep saying Nujabes because there are other collaborators on this like Fat John and Force of Nature and all that, but like
Hmm.
before I heard about Samurai Champloo, I feel like I heard about Nujabes. I don't know if that's entirely true, but
Hmm.
that he as an artist was and is so influential to like the kind of music that people our age are obsessed with now, that like internet beat making lo-fi style that like it sounds like it belongs on a cassette tape but it was made in 2005, like it is such a unique sound, and it's such a great pairing with basically anything in this show. It can be a silly scene, it can be a incredibly dramatic scene. Like I messaged you earlier in the week about the Jin falls in love with a prostitute episode, right? And it's like it's soap opera-y, and it's not the most there's not like the writing of an individual episode is not going to blow your hair back. Like it's rarely going to do so. It's a lot of like,
Yeah.
oh, of course this happens. It's very tropey. It's playing on like film noir and western and samurai movie like
Hmm.
tropes that you've seen before. But the execution is so great, and that little spice of a amazing like backing beat to these scenes makes Samurai Champloo stand on its own and makes it like it gives it that X factor.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That really bridges me to wanting to talk a little bit about the anachronicity
Anachronisms, yeah,
anachronicity of
of the
I
series.
don't
Yeah, no, 100%.
of the series. What a cool thematic thing to do to like fuse these like, you know, hip hop being the most like standout modern example of like a art form that is, you know,
Mm-hmm.
sticking it to the man and is like the song of like, you know, people who are um going through like suffering and like rebellion and expressing that kind of like angst and taking it back to a period and really like demystifying or like it's not it is not like just defacing samurai and how it's been depicted in movies, but it is also not like being so respectful of it and like this is so deep and this is the biggest thing. Like it is playing with the fact that it is so like untouchable and like,
Right.
you know, the honor and like all this kind of stuff. And, you know, like that again, the beauty of what Jin does as a character is like he is lives in 100% accordance with these values that I think the series is like, yeah, these are good values to have, but or have also just made him into like a killing machine with no personality, like
Yes.
who cannot perform like basic tasks, like he can't like catch fish, he can't do like laundry, like he
Well,
doesn't.
every person they run into is like either so obsessed with laws and honor and order that they pick fights with people who have nothing to do with whatever the current situation is. Like, right, whenever they walk into town, they're immediately wrapped up into some problem because everyone is too traditional, right? It's always like it's that fight between like culture and counterculture that
Hmm.
was happening at the margins in actual like historic or ancient, not ancient, but Edo period Japan, right? And the show goes to great lengths to like point these out, but then it ties it and it pulls from the future more recognizable iconography of the modern day,
Hmm.
like graffiti or like I
Beatboxing.
graf- bebop, yeah, exactly, and breakdance and
Yeah.
MCing and things that just are not like almost like the guy who's hunting Jin, who is basically like entering into a rap battle with himself every time he wants to announce himself. Like it is, I don't think that was happening, but posturing has been happening for the entirety of human life, right? Like someone who puffs themselves up bigger than they actually are. Like that is an understandable situation in any time. But then you throw the backdrop of feudal Japan and the iconography of modern day like rap culture, and it's a great time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's this connection through time. I think the feeling I'm always left in like watching this series of like, yeah, like, you know, there's just like the people ruling at the time of Edo Japan were not like the thing that they have in common with the people that rule us now and the people that rule us then is there's just this is the gang that's in charge right now and they're
Right.
just gonna bully people in the margins and that's just kind of how power and money works. That's basically
Mm-hmm.
kind of my takeaway a lot of the time. And um I don't know. I'm curious your thoughts on this. There are it's set it's in the chorus of like the opening song of like, you know, um like I'm at peace but like the world's out of order, like being
Mm-hmm.
born in the wrong time, like that kind of thing. I kind of the where I get to it is that I almost don't think there is such thing as being born at the right time. Like I think there's just the truth of the world is that there is always kind of this conflict and trying to exist as though we can, you know, achieve some separation from that conflict is kind of like a
Mm-hmm.
futile pursuit. Like you have to kind of just embrace the fact and live in the world and live with that kind of conflict. But I mean, there is also like, you know, this is being placed at like the end of the samurai period and where you could kind of have this like Jin doesn't really have like a place to go that he maybe would have had if he was born a few generations earlier. He wouldn't have had to like ask all these challenging questions maybe.
This isn't a reference that will mean anything to you, but it's very Red Dead Redemption, where it's like the
Mm,
West is ending, and all these people who dedicated their lives to these skills and this like outlaw nature are quickly being surpassed by like bureaucracy and modernization and things like the Jins of the world and the Mugins of the world are both going to be like ground under the heel of like the shogunate. I This is such a disjointed show, right, because of its episodic nature. But if the through line to me, and I'm trying to like synthesize this and potentially make a video on it in the future, is it's about memory and nostalgia and like and the fallibility of that, right? So many episodes are this legend sprung up because of the real events that people are misremembering and then reinterpreting into something else, or somehow Jin, Mugen, and Fu have inspired like multiple different art forms, but they are lost to time and not remembered as like the great graffiti artist inspiration of the time, or the what's the painting style that's popular? Ukiyo-e.
Yeah, like the famous like the Fuji-san that's like red, or like the big wave or whatever, like all those paintings on like the wood blocks, like
or Fu surrounded by sunflowers, which then somehow inspires Van Gogh. Like
yeah,
that's like a but like so like that's like a through line between most of the episodic episodes, but then also the overarching story is about Fu. If you had to boil down like what is Fu searching for, Fu is searching for her father, more so because she has these vague memories of when she's like 2 or 3 and having both parents, but ultimately it's a misguided attempt to replace her mother, who has died more recently, right? She's searching for her father, but she's really searching for her mother, who we know there's no way to find her because she's dead. Like it and her own memories and her own nostalgia is like twisting her and pushing her towards this impossible goal and towards this dangerous goal. And then the ultimate, like you combine that with the ideas of like counterculture and the ideas of rebellion. And so then when it gets to the end, I could see this coming out of nowhere for some people, but like the shogunate being the ultimate villain makes perfect sense to me, because it is thematically perfect for this series, that like these 3 people who are carrying the weight of like memory and the weight of rebellion and art and free, like ultimate, like it's freedom versus control, and it's really well done. And I haven't, as you can probably tell from this rambling, I'm still wrapping my head around all of it, but if I can get this synthesized into like a script or a post or what have you, it's gonna make me very happy, because I can feel like I'm just about to get my thumb on it. I'm
absolutely.
very excited.
I'm glad you really touched on that. Yeah, the control versus like freedom, dichotomy is so tied into it. But yeah, no, I love how beautifully you like weave that in with like the nostalgia stuff and her
it's
quest.
Like memory, right? And you can like from a meta perspective, like everyone remembers the Edo period for like cool samurai fights and like the might of the shogunate and the warring periods and the wars and the honor and this and that. But then Samurai Champloo's like, everyone they meet is starving and poor and having a horrible time, and every government official's corrupt, and it's all about money, and it's all about pitying prostitutes and pitying like traveling people, and it's just like it's a bad time.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think like that is the, it's kind of like shaking you a little bit of the nostalgia, but also not being like fuck samurai and fuck the bushido and like all this cool, like it's very much respecting, being like this is cool and this is cool and all, but it doesn't mean this. It doesn't mean like peace and perfection and everything, and being trapped in that and not appreciating the thing in front of you is like the ultimate like failure, which you kind of touched on this, and I'd love to pull up a plate, get my fork and knife ready to dig into Fu's daddy issues and her protection onto Mugen and Jin, and try to just really wanting these older men to fucking fall in love with her the whole time, and she's just this annoying kid to them. And I think that I mean, she spells it out in the diary episode, like how, Mugen is like the lowest of the low, but like Jin, she at least was like kind of like admiring at first until she got to know him. And I think that's the thing. It's like you get to know people in the real day to day, and like the nobody can be that idealized in the day to day. Like everyone has weird, messy, annoying little things that you just kind of have to learn to somehow tolerate, or we're all like little puzzle pieces, and some of us kind of match together like a little bit, but like you know. What's the thing? I saw a thing recently. I've definitely seen it before, but it's like people talk about like trying to pursue your ideal type, and like the ideal
Hmm.
person you're attracted to is like maybe a like exercise in futility, because you're pursuing an image, and like you're like, oh, I want someone who will make me feel like a princess or something like that, when it's like
Sure.
that's not what human beings are like. And anyone who's doing that is like doing a performance, it to an extent, or like putting their own needs on hold, which is like great to maybe have in a relationship like time to time, but that's dessert. You can't have it like every single moment. And I think like
Well, and the weird
Fu,
side characters that
yeah.
Fu meets also
Mm,
embody that, right? Like the artist is not this
yes.
like mysterious artist who's in touch with his inner, expression. He is a pawn in a scheme to sex traffic people.
Yeah.
The guy who pursues her and is also pursuing Jin for a different reason is not this big, strong, gallant guy. He's a complete loser who's also married and has kids that he's ignoring, like he's a deadbeat. It her she I have a lot of sympathy for her
Mm,
because of her lot in life and her desire to want more. And basically, every woman you run into in this series that's not her, who does like settle down and try and do the traditional path of like getting married or what have you, either ends up like subservient or sold off or kidnapped or killed. And so, Fu being in this time period where it's not a great time to be a woman, she she finds this solution in like conning these two men to help her, right? Um, it's
yeah.
great.
No, absolutely. It's so good. But this one trick to getting to getting two hot boyfriends is lying about the
A coin
result of a
toss.
flipped coin. um, yeah. No, it's really good. I really like, but yeah, it's like she throughout the course of the series, I think, learns to appreciate these two guys for their idiosyncrasies,
Hmm.
and in spite of the fact that they're not super considerate of her. One of the best shots of this series is just the extended thing of like they're both eating the mushrooms on like opposite sides of the camera,
No,
and she's
no,
running back.
no.
No, go, give it back. And she keeps running back and forth. And they're just, but if you like watch just any one of them, like during the thing, they're just lazily kind of like finding the next one, taking a bite, and she's just kind of like panicked, and like, cause she's like kind of feeling like, why aren't you giving any to me? Uh, Really, really great stuff. Love these characters, love these dynamics. Sam, do you want to dive into some specific episodes, like highlights? I have like a short list that I'd love to, you know.
So I want to know your favorite episode because I know your favorite episode of Bebop is the mushroom hunting episode, right?
I think that's
Is that still the
yes, that
same?
is
That's
my
still the
favorite
case?
episode. Yes, that is my. I was almost getting confused with your favorite episode of Bebop is the one where they go in the mall in the water
It's the
and
looking for the
they're looking
Betamax
for
tape,
Phase
and then it's a
Betamax.
very silly journey through old destroyed Earth that then suddenly ends with a complete emotional whammy of
Yes.
Faye watching the videotape of herself, and the video diary and what that means with Faye having been like lost to time for periods of like her whole weird thing of being like a
Mm.
woman out of time. I think the episode's called "Speak
Mm.
Like a Child," but
But yeah, I like mushroom hunting in Bebop. Not
the
necessarily
ultimate
the biggest fan
episodic
of the
episode.
mushroom. Yes, yeah, exactly, because it's episodic. Because you just
Hmm.
have Ed just ruining serious people's thing is like really good. I love like stupid character walks into like serious movie. That happens a
Yes.
couple times. That happens in like the like secret agent prostitute episode with Mugen where he
Yes.
like it cuts to them in the other room like negotiating about like this like false currency that they're making,
Mm-hmm.
and like nothing funny has happened left, and I'm already like like grinning
Because
ear
you
to
know
ear
he's
because
next
I know
door.
Mugen is gonna destroy their whole thing, and they're trying to be so serious.
Yes.
I love stuff like that. If I had
The
to say my favorite
That
episode,
has my
or do you want
favorite
to
joke.
guess it?
I just want to say that has my favorite joke maybe in the whole series, which is it's one of the rare episodes where one of the three is like not present for almost the entire episode. Like Fu is out,
Mm,
like she's kicked out of the red light district and can't be a part of,
yeah.
can't participate. And they send out like the goons to go. They're like, they were traveling with a fat girl. Go find the fat girl, and they just like stop her on the street and go, "Have you seen a fat girl who looks like you?" And she goes, "No." And that's all that you. That's like all you get from her that entire episode. It's so
So
funny.
funny. I love
Uh,
yeah, it's like establishing like no, that wasn't like a cartoonish punchline. She actually like gains and loses extreme amount
yes.
of weights in a short
all
time.
all the jokes
So
about Fu, like being able to pack it away, are great. Like I think all the jokes about starving are very very funny. Um,
yeah, those always hit. But yeah,
your
do you
favorite
want to try and
episode?
guess my favorite episode, or
I would
should I
like to
just say it?
try.
Okay.
The obvious guess, and I think that like this is another like heard it through the grapevine over the last 10 years. The baseball episode is unbelievable. It is
So
so
good.
funny and it's so incredible. The I
That's an easy number 2 for me, I think.
Oh, number two. Okay, I sent you a quote from that just like absolutely killed me, which is when the old like official collapses before even swinging a bat once. Step over my corpse, Fu, and move on to a brighter tomorrow.
It's so funny. That is like that is something I
Unbelievable.
would write of just like. By the way, there's an old man and he dies in the first 5 minutes of the episode. He looks so weak and like when the Americans come off the ship and he's just like. Like the way they do is like jittering animation.
Yes, his cane, he can't barely hold it. It's unbelievable. Like that. If there's a
And
funniest
then
episode of Champloo, it's got to be that.
that setting up the joke of like he dies and then there's this weird fourth wall break where they put a frame around it and it goes in black and white.
And they do it
Plays like a
again
piano
with
note.
my
And then
least
they
favorite
do it
character,
like
the narrator guy.
yeah, they do it like 5 more times. They're like everyone dies,
The
I
dog.
guess. And then you're like, did Jin just die? Like, did everyone die? And then it like cuts to like all of the bodies are like under blankets and they're like burning incense. Like,
And then he
they're
gets up
like,
and he's
yeah.
like, "I haven't died yet. I am here," like their baseball coach.
But it's like Jin may as well be dead from that point because
So
he's out of the
fucking funny.
episode.
It
So
you can
good.
see why like another 10 years later it's like every episode of Space Dandy ends with the main cast dying because it's like you can see the seeds of that in Champloo.
Oh, so good.
Gosh,
Oh
what would
man.
it be? Do you like the Dutchman episode with
I do.
okay.
That is a big highlight as well. I like this method of doing it because now I'm getting to talk about my
Other
favorite episodes
episodes?
just out of order.
Yes.
Um,
Well, like
yeah.
that the eating contest is like one of my favorite. I don't necessarily like vibe with the back half of that episode when they're just chasing the guy around town, but I
Mhm.
love the eating contest so much and how differently the three of them approach it, because it's also a chance for Fu to be the hero, which is like kind of hard for
Yes.
them to do often. Um,
Yeah.
and Jin being able to eat one bowl is so funny and so good. Um,
Yeah, because he's like complaining about being hungry just as much as the rest of him, and then he's
yes,
like, "Oh man, I can't
He-
go on any further." It's really funny. The like classic thing where she like accidentally
Catches the
forfeits because
fly.
she had to catch a fly. So funny.
and ends the contest
Um,
and loses because she accidentally bows out.
Extremely good. I'll say that episode I've come to really appreciate in a new light
Mhm.
since like when I first watched the series I had never set foot on Japan, and having
Mhm.
been a foreign exchange student and then a foreign worker for like years at this point, and having done the tourist thing, I felt like I was like watching myself as
Take
as a
someone
fucking
around.
10-foot tall Dutch man, like with a funny hat, like because oh my god, the shoes joke is so funny as well. They're all like disguised as like
But
they
they're
look like the
wearing the
big hats,
yeah.
but the giveaways they're like they're
They're
round
wearing the
shoes.
Dutch wooden shoes, like or the clogs. Is that what they're called?
Yeah, the clogs is so funny. But yeah, like I felt like that was really interesting. I have been in that exact social situation to the point of like that is the Edo episode, which is like the old name for Tokyo. Like that is like
Yes.
they're touring him around like famous things that still exist in Tokyo today.
Some of which I have seen, and I was like, I've
Yeah,
been there. I was like,
yeah,
ah.
exactly. And like I think the feeling was like every time I've been in that situation where like Japanese person is helping show me around like their hometown
Mm.
or something, you're just like, oh god, don't be Jake Paul, don't say something stupid, don't try to sound like you know too much, like just be normal. Like you're just like not wanting to fall into that like cringe thing. Um, I think rewatching that episode was like, oh, this is like I'm seeing like the perspective of like somebody touring someone around and them not fucking knowing shit and breaking the rules and being too loud or whatever. And I'm like, I kind of love it because they're kind of like, it felt very modern. It felt like a very Japanese experience to like give a Western person a tour around, or
Mm-hmm.
just any foreigner like a tour around, like Tokyo or
But
something like that.
well, and I think that
But
the series has a little bit of sympathy for the Dutch man, not just because he is gay, which is like another interesting wrinkle they throw in,
right,
but like it's like looking at the world through a child's eyes. Like he's so excited about all these Japanese things and all these Edo things. So like the characters kind of go like have to keep being like, "Oh, why are we being so cynical about this?" Or like, "Oh, I guess this is cool." And I like that like
yeah.
the the um the geisha performance comes up in Fu's diary like a few episodes later. It's like, "Oh yeah, she did like kind of have a good day with this annoying tourist like loudmouth Dutchman."
Right, exactly. And they're kind of like negotiating the barrier of like, okay, you're going too far, like you're breaking the
Mhm.
customs too much, and then like there's one thing, there's a specific thing that he's like getting wrong and he's like saying it wrong, and Jin is getting really pissed off because he's just like that's incorrect. Um
You're not listening to
and
me.
Mugen's just being like, just let him, like who gives a shit, like, and I'm like, I like that. I have that attitude a lot of times with stuff. I'm kind of like, this is important and all, but like the situation is not like you're being tested on this knowledge. You're not. This person's not like going on TV and talking about this knowledge and getting it incorrect. It's that they're just like passively experiencing it. They're just walking by like, oh. At one point they call Kaminari Mon, which is like the name of the gate, Kaminari Man, which sounds like a superhero, a lightning based superhero. And then Mugen points at like the two like thunder and wind gods that I'm forgetting off the top of my head, but they're very famous. And
Mhm.
he's like, yeah, that's Kaminari Man 1 and Kaminari Man 2. Like that's
Oh, and Jin is
you
upset
know.
by this. Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
this
and
happening.
Jin's just being like you know. I don't know. I like that was relatable, and then I was like, oh damn, I guess I'm in Japan for the same reason as this Dutchman was in Japan. Cause I like if I'm being open, like I feel like one of the big reasons like early on with Japan is like, oh, like you can kind of be more feminine here, it seems like, or
Hmm.
like at least media maybe made it seem like that way for a little bit. Um
Well, and the show
or it
goes
made
to
it seem
great
like there's
pains
this
to be like
culture.
we used to like Japan used to be like a more open society when it comes to things like sex and
Yeah.
like homosexuality and these different things, and now and it's become like they're even in the I think it might be that episode, it might be a different episode, but like it opens with like it's like in today's society people are very concerned about promiscuousness, and it shows like some teenagers in like short skirts, and it's like
Yeah.
but back in the day we used to be way more chill about this. And it's just it's interesting little bits of cultural commentary like woven in there. That might be for the graffiti episode, I can't quite remember.
Yeah, they
um
do a similar thing in the graffiti one as well. But yeah, no, it is very like the like of the few pointed direct statements that they make about like modern Japanese society, like those are definitely in there. Like Shinichirō Watanabe has like talked about like the wanting to represent like different minoritized people and stuff like that in the anime to like not depict Japan as homogenized, which I've harped on other series about it, and the reason I harp on other series is because I'm like they figured out how to do it in 2004. So I don't know why everyone's white and skipping loafer now. Like, I don't know. I think that it's cool. It's not the worst representation. It's made in 2004, but it is fucking far and above. They bait you with the like they're gonna do the one trans joke where like guy finds trans or like a man cross-dressing attractive. They bait you, and then he's like, "Oh no, I love that. Like, I'm gay."
Right.
It's like, oh sweet, you know.
I definitely was like,
cool.
like this is for being from 2004, with the exception of one comment from Mugen that I think they would not make today, which is really early on, where he's like, "I'm just gonna rape Fu," and I'm like, "Whoa!" That was like episode 2. With the exception
he says
of
he's
that,
gonna rape Jin.
What's up?
But I might have. I think he said he was going to do it to Jin, but I might have
No, he says that about Fu because she's drunk on the cart, and he's like hauling her through the woods, and he's like, "This is bullshit. I should just do this." And it's like, whoa, Jesus! Like that, I don't think they would make today. I think that is just like
tasteless, but yeah,
it's tasteless. It's not even that it's inaccurate to the times or to who Mugen is at that point or what have you, but it's such. For good reason, we're a little bit more touchy about that now than we were, if that makes sense, even only 20 years later. And I think outside of that, which is really, I was like, yeah, they wouldn't make it like this anymore. The show feels like a very modern show to me, like in terms of how it handles all of these things, which means if it feels like that way now, that means that 20 years ago, or 25 years ago, no, 22 years ago, it was incredibly progressive, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And yeah, especially for like Japan and like the depiction of like racialized minorities, like having a fucking like this Ryukyu guy and like Ainu guy like talking to each other in like one of the episodes is fire. Like I've referenced that episode like several times at this point. Like that is also on my list. Like I think it's one of the best like deliveries on the concept of the series of like Mugen and Jin being these like warring sides, because Mugen basically has to fight his version of Jin. Like this is another person who has like lost his home and family and had his kind of culture being like destroyed by like the shogunate or whatever. But he is like fitting into the like this like noble like native person like kind of image, and is being honorable and all this kind of stuff, much like Jin. Meanwhile, Jin has to fight someone from his backstory that's like another samurai trying to kill him, but that samurai is very Mugen-like in the fact that he's like, I'm trying to kill you because I'm trying to like up my name, and I'm trying to like increase my reputation,
Right.
And they kind of indirectly have their battle against each other in that episode. I feel like that's really cool.
Yeah, they sneak that in a couple of times, where Jin has to fight the Mugen equivalent. Like Jin is the one to kill Mugen's like boogeyman from his past, right? Which I think is an interesting choice. And that's like a moment where Jin like steps in, and even he has a comment to him where he's like, "We were both deceived," or he feels very apologetic to like have taken Mugen's revenge from him. But that's like another subtle moment where it seems like the two of them get closer in their ideas and like helping each other. I got 2 more guesses for you, and one's one that I hope is not the answer because it's not an episode I like very much, and then the other is War of the Words graffiti episode, which I do like very much. Is that your favorite?
See, you're 100% correct. That's my
good
100% favorite.
I was really
worried.
Series. I was really worried you were going to say the zombie episode, which is probably my least favorite episode. Okay.
Zombie episode, there was potential there. I think they reveal the boogeyman way too early. Like you immediately know what is going to happen, and there's the tension for the rest of the episode is completely sapped because it's just like
100%.
yeah, I guess.
Almost every comparison I've made to Bebop is like a 50-50 coin flip where I'm like, I don't know which one does it better. Like, do I like this trio or the quartet from Bebop? Do I like do I like Yoko Kanno music or do I like Nujabi's music? Like, Bebop does its horror episodes, I think, way better. It has two,
Yeah.
and they're both fantastic. Like, Toys in the Attic is amazing. Hunting the the parasite in the fridge, and then the Pierre, I think his name's Pierre, the like big
the crazy
mechanical
clown.
assassin man. Yeah, I think that's like so much better than the zombie episode.
Yeah, no, this kind of felt like, okay, we're nearing the end. Do we want to do horror one? Sure, but I don't know. It feels like it got shuffled around in the writing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There was maybe a
Well,
thing,
it
but
comes
it
at
just
like the same time period too. Like Bebop, and it's so weird that they both have the same thing where it's like we're gonna have our absolute silliest episode right before the end.
Mm.
In that case, like right before Ed's departure for Bebop, and then we're gonna have our our like weird horror episode, and like in Bebop it's Pierre, I think his name's Pierre, the carnival episode with the assassin with the umbrella, and then here it's the zombie, like right there at the end, just like let's get really weird with it.
Yeah, it's like there's a clear love for both of those concepts, like doing something, having the creepypasta episode where like
the genre.
You know, Spike is scared for one episode, like things are off, you know, like and then having like the funny goofy episode where we're just hanging out with the characters is like the exact perfect thing to put before a finale. But yeah, I think it just it's just so unbelievable that Jin and Mugen would be like, yeah, we'll become like wage slaves. Like it's so antithetical to their entire thing. There are still some funny moments in it. Like I think when Jin emerges,
great. That's from the mushroom. That's where the mushroom moment happens.
Yeah, mushroom moment's great. I think when Jin emerges from like the house and he's like been studying the map and he's like, oh yeah, there's like a little smudge here and actually you're not related.
Yeah.
and the guy's reaction being like, what? No.
I just
but
think
it's
that
not
guy
horrifying.
is not
it's just funny.
He's not entertaining enough, right? Like the weird zombie priest man who is digging. I like the concept of digging for 500 years and thinking it's 5. Like the execution just wasn't my favorite. But who cares about that? Let's talk about your favorite episode. Graffiti
favorite
Brothers.
Episode. War of the Words. I have watched this one a lot over the years. I really enjoy it. I think it has... So, okay, first of all, starting out the episode with a character reveal, like one of those perfect character reveals where you're like, okay, this has been true the whole time. It somehow flew under the radar. It fits exactly with their understanding of the character, and yet it is also surprising, which is that Mugen can't read. And he knows one letter, and he's just like, that says no, and that says no, and that says no. And they're like, can you read it again? There's too many. No. Who gives a shit? So good. I'm a real sucker for... I was thinking about... I was trying to reflect on like why I love this so much. I think I'm a real sucker for episodes, things where a character is being resistant to education. I think this is like very similar to
Teacher Mallory's
my love of... Yeah, exactly. It's very similar to my love of Deltarune's Chapter 4 and like Susie that I'm like so enamored with, and it makes me so emotional. Like, yeah, I think it's like teaching, and then just also like relating students I know, like my brother, just people I know who are like so like, well, if I'm not good at it immediately, like I can't touch it, you know, like that kind of thing. And
but if you persevere, then you have a character growth moment, kind of.
Yeah, and them encountering a teacher that is like, I'm gonna push through. Like it's like a conflict and it's like a fight, but it's like
it needs to be a challenge.
Really,
yeah.
A teacher who is like, I'm gonna push through all your layers of bullshit to get to like the point where you enjoy learning. This drunk guy just like kidnapping him and beating the shit out of him until he learns how to read. So
Mugen
funny.
needs a reading teacher who will put him in a headlock, right? Them doing like the cue cards and like it's very. I'm trying to teach my third grader like multiplication tables, and I'm like, math. It's the Incredibles thing, right? Where it's like math is math and this and that. Like why did they change math? Like it has that energy to it of like parent and child, and Mugen just being like such an idiot but so determined to not lose. It is a
Mhm.
really 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 good gag.
No, it's really extremely good, and I think the episode holistically works really well as well. There's also the thing where he's like imagining his distorted versions of like Fu and Jin making fun of him, and Fu's being like, "Oh, you're stupid,"
And
and
then
then
it
Jin
cuts to
just goes,
Jin.
"Huh." And that is somehow so brutal,
Yeah.
like because he never smiles for him to just go, "Huh."
It's also
It's
kind
just
of what happens in reality because yeah, Fu is kind of making fun of him and chuckling, and Jin, for a rare moment where Jin isn't the honorable nice person, like he does kind of like dogpile on him. And it makes Mugen so upset.
extremely funny. But yeah, the other half of the episode as well, like I think is like you're just getting all the character strengths. Like you're getting Fu being like, okay, these guys are freaks, but I'm the center of attention, so that's fine. You're getting Jin having to adjudicate like this turf war because he owes a debt to like these kids' father.
Hmm.
So then it's like he has to like put all his like values into practice while also like respecting them and the fact that they're like,
Their new
well,
way
our
of
whole thing
fighting.
is graffiti, and he's just having to. He's like just the image of like him sitting there and like his perfect stance, and he's like has his head kind of like lowered, and he's like deliberating on things, and then these two like these guys and their like punk gangs are just being like, is so good. And yeah, the ending, which is 99% of episodes of Samurai Champloo are like someone's trying to do something crazy and then Jin or Mugen just like shows
Does
up
it?
and completely bests them.
Yeah.
um but oh, it's such a good moment. I love the song, the Samurai, like as they're like defacing Hiroshima Castle. The reveal that like even though these guys are kind of like stupid and goofy and layabouts, like it's like no, them defacing Hiroshima Castle isn't just like meaningless like nonsense. This is like a fuck you to the guy that killed their father or whatever, right?
Right.
Like
It's another situation where it's like it's Samurai Champloo is using comedy and using anachronistic ideas to comment on like the troubles of the day and bring them forward to the troubles of now, right? Like what is counterculture about? It's about rebellion. Why do you have to rebel? Because they cannot win. Because there is an evil, like there is an authoritarian, there is an oppressive force in the world. These are thoughts that I have not been able to escape from since watching Andor. It's like my political awakening, even though I've cared about politics for many years, but it is
yeah.
I'm loving the themes that I'm finding in old and new media of like we just gotta fucking we gotta get
We're
our
gonna move.
pitchforks out, but in a cool way with hip hop beats in the in the background. We gotta
Yeah.
we gotta
No,
fight the
totally.
power.
Yeah, and like these guys, like as goofy as I mean, like as easy as it is to like deride them, it's like no, there is like meaning to the shit that they're doing.
Hmm.
If they can like put aside their like brotherly squabbles, like they can get something done. And then yeah, Mugen gets to the top and he writes the infinity sign because that was his name the whole time. And he invented. Did you know that Mugen invented the
Invented
infinity sign?
infinity as a symbol. Yeah.
So good. And then like the next day, him like writing like Jin on like Jin's clothes
Oh,
because
what
he's
a
like,
good payoff. I love that at the end. It's like sandal, Jin, Fu, and they're covered in graffiti in their yukatas. It's like, oh, it's so good.
and he just goes, when you know how to write, you gotta label things. Like it's like talking to
Gotta
them
put
like
your
they're
name on stuff.
idiots. Is so good because it's just so pure, like the from like the hatred of like knowledge because you're insecure about your ability to like engage with it to
He's
being
so
like,
proud, though.
I love this, I'm bragging about this, like look at me, um so good, really really funny stuff. That's my favorite episode. Sam, I'd love to hear about your favorite episode. Should
You
I
got
play
any
the guessing
guesses for
game
me?
or
Yeah, this is fun. This is a great
let's
way to talk about a lot of
see.
episodes, unless you nail it immediately, which is possible.
I'm worried. Do you think you might have spoiled it for? Well, no,
Possible.
because
We've talked about a lot of
because
episodes
you said it
already.
was kind of soapy. But the
Oh yeah.
Jin like prostitute episode, I think you mentioned is like a.
I love the Jin prostitute episode. It's not my
Mhm.
favorite. It has some of my favorite music in the
Mm.
series. Like that the tracks that play when he's like running away with the prostitute and doing like the little bit of fighting that's in that episode is really good. And it was just like, God, this formula never doesn't work of just
Yes.
like so like extreme violence and combat and samurai like iconography mixed with just a sick ass beat and some like backing instrumental. um
Jin brooding to lo-fi beats is like a vibe, like
yes,
definitely.
100%. In the rain, and it's so it's it's good. That's yeah, that's an early favorite from, or that's a first half favorite for me for sure. Love the Fu Diary episode.
Oh yes.
Incredible recap episode. All of her getting her perspective on all that has happened um is great. And it's like it honestly, like, it's weirdly plot relevant in the sense that you get a little bit of like more about like her mother and stuff in that. And I think that it's a very, very good execution of the episode that everyone always hates, which is the we ran out of money, let's use the budget to let's like do a clip show episode.
Yeah, no, it's like it is like really valuable to the story, and it goes to show like you flex those writing chops, like you put in a little elbow grease, and you can make anything entertaining and good and
Mm-hmm.
value added. And I think again because this show is so restrained with like dropping stuff like that, it's like oh yeah, like because like Fu is not like she's just being a person all these scenes. She's not like blabbing about like her reflections like in every
Right.
single episode. Like it's so because we haven't gotten those, it's valuable to get those. I was also like when I was talking about like Jim brooding to lo-fi beats, is like we don't even see him brood that much. You would think you would look at his character design, you'd be like, all right, this guy's gonna be moping about a lot, and it's like maybe he is sad internally sometimes, but like there's very few episodes where it's like, okay, let's actually like put him in a situation where he's clearly upset and like going through
For a
it.
show that's so bombastic, like there's a lot of withholding with the characters, right? Like you basically just get the campfire conversation at the end, and you get that post battle Jin and Mugen like completely beat up, like laying in the floor of this yet another shack where they have been
Mm.
put through the ringer and are now recovering, and you get like the admission that they are all friends. But that comes at the very end. Like it's impressive. I really like it. But no, that is
Yeah,
not my favorite episode.
it's not your favorite episode. I'm struggling to think. I mean, the Sarah one feels obvious. I don't know if that would be your thing though. I'm not sure.
You have nailed it. Um,
Okay, cool.
I am at a war with myself because I agree with you that what makes Samurai Champloo great is that it's like character and situation first, not plot first, right? Like it's
Yes.
the journey, not the destination. But I really do get the sense with that first of the two Sarah episodes of like a turning point in these characters' character arcs, in the show being willing to say, yes, we do have an overarching plot and it is going to end soon. I think that episode is fantastic. I love the vibe of the music with the shamisen. Is that how you say it? The instrument.
Yeah, the shamisen. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's just unbelievably moody and cool, and a way to like. They do this a handful of times, but to like reincorporate like more traditional Japanese music into um, the hip hop samurai show. Um,
Hmm.
I think by and large, I'm not the biggest fan of most of the episodic episode characters.
Mm.
I find a lot of them to be very bland. We've been talking mostly about the winners, but there's a lot of losers. There's a lot of like, these two gangs are rivals, and one of them has a father and a son, and they're kind of just the father and the son, and it's a little boring. Um,
Yeah,
because you spend
for every like gay Dutchman, you also have to deal with like you cut off my hand last episode, and
right,
now I'm crazy.
yes,
You're kind of like, all right, man, like
100%.
get over it.
I think Sarah bucks the trend there, where she starts off as
Mm.
like, it's like this is gonna be another generic like tropey character that they're gonna like play off of, and we're gonna get some great comedy of like this person's living in a soap opera, and these people are crashing through that without care. But then it
Mhm.
doesn't do that. But then Mugen, Jin, and Fu all connect with this character, and there's something so, even though it's all based on deception, there's something so cozy about seeing everything work out correctly for once and work out peacefully, where you get this like 2 or 3 minute montage set to one of her songs where they're traveling with her and they're making good progress, and they're seemingly, for once, they've got it all figured out, right? They're making money through her music playing, and they're using their skills for good of like defending this blind woman. And Fu is opening up to her to say the things that she can't say to Mugen and Jin. And it's where Fu first like vocalizes that she doesn't want the journey to end. And I like the emotions. It's so impressive to me, in the same way that Faye Bebop episode is so impressive to me, of being able to have such a silly piece of media that is basically like Shinichirō Watanabe going, I'm going to take everything I love, I'm going to take hip hop and art and graffiti and jazz and mix it up in a stew and just vomit it at you. But then it does have that emotional core, and that core, it's really executed perfectly. I can't believe they did it again.
Yeah. No, I'm getting hit with it all over again just thinking about it, man. It's so good, and it's I think it's, to me, I think it is all like contrast and restraint and all that kind of stuff. Like you have so many episodes with like NPCs that are, you know, they
The
could be
butt of
deleted and
jokes.
it wouldn't affect the story, you
Right.
know, or like you've had such subtle, slow character development, and you've restrained, like, because Fu's never had a moment where she could really like open up with Jin or Mugen in that way, like
Mhm.
you then earn like this character having such a like big impact on the story. Mugen kicking like the pot in like anger, like when
Yes.
she like leaves the room, because Mugen is a character that always says like the thought enters his mind and immediately comes out of his mouth, and like he has that interaction with her that is like seemingly peaceful, and he's like
Mhm.
making, you know, like arrangements,
But he's
and
already
then
caught
like
on.
as soon as she leaves, he's like, he waits for her to leave and then he fucking lets his anger out.
Mhm.
Just never happened before in the history, and it's like, oh, he cares about this person, and it's not just like a sex thing. It's like he cares
Well,
about them.
he's mad because Jin figured it out first. Like there's the implication that Jin had already realized this about Sarah, that she is an assassin. For those who have not watched Samurai Champloo but are
Mhm.
somehow an hour and a half into this podcast, um, he like Jin's already caught on that this blind traveling musician is does have ulterior motives, does have like a way about her. Like Mugen caught on in the sense that he's like, she's always guarded, but he did not figure out what he prides himself on, which is being able to recognize strength. Like
Mm,
maybe he was thinking with his dick, or maybe he
right.
was actually like falling in love, and so Jin beat him to the punch, and that's what makes Mugen upset, on top of they're all kind of in love with this person.
Yeah, no, because Jin's
It's
like
perfect.
Sherlock Holmes senses of like, like, because Mugen's way of like evaluating someone's strength is just kind of like by running at them and attacking them, and he wouldn't
Mhm.
think to do that to her. Versus like Jin's way of evaluating someone's strength is like, I noticed like dust on your coat that could only be in that way if you've been training like early in the morning. Like
It's
he's,
like it's all
yeah,
technique, right? So it's like Jin notices like the way she walks, presumably, or like something about how
right.
she carries herself.
I
Um,
think she reacts to something. He like tests something and she like catches it or something like that.
mhm.
I don't remember exactly,
It
but
might
yeah,
be
like
as
he,
early as like how she's reacting when she's being like harassed by the guys in the bar when they first meet her. Like it could be even that far
yeah.
back. But then that also, like, this is, it's right, usually I would say that the individual plots of an episodic episode of Champloo are pretty easy to follow along and predict, right? Like there's not any
Hmm.
big giant twists. Um and even this episode, you probably have there's probably a good chance that Sarah is more than meets the eye, but the I didn't expect Jin to have already figured it out when she attacks him at the bridge at the end, like, or to Fu to have pointed that out. But then when you go back and look at it, it's like all Fu is talking about is how easily Jin went along with her. And it's like, well, yeah, it's because none of you like each other. But wait a minute, now you all do like each other. That is weird, and maybe that's why Jin
Yeah.
did that. And it's a great piece of writing, and it's also a great it's a great precursor for what's to come in terms of the finale, which is also probably my,
Yeah.
if not the baseball episode, which is also I love. The finale is probably a strong runner-up for me. I promise I am fun and don't just like the serious episodes, but these are some really good
They're
serious
cool.
episodes, and I like my vegetables after eating so much candy, and it's to me it is Shinichirō Watanabe at his best. In everything I've watched of his, there's always at least like one episode where it's like, I didn't know this show had that in it, and it does.
Yes.
And it makes it it elevates it even more. Like, it's so good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's so cool. I think the other thing is that the funniest thing about Jin is this dude, one of his best hobbies is that he loves to make you think that he died by falling into water from a great height. And he
Mallory,
does it so
every
often.
character falls in water and dies. Like, it
Jin specifically does it like 3 times.
He does.
And it's like in the same fashion he goes like, don't worry about me. And he fucking falls into the water. He does it in the episode where he fights like in the episode where Vega's fighting the Ainu guy and he's fighting like his other guy. He does it in that episode. So Jin is always climbing out of the water and like being like and like having like vital internal organ damage. It's
the
really
episode
good.
where Fu falls in the water after they break up, I was sitting there going, didn't we just do this with Mugen? And haven't we done this with Mugen before? Like, God, they really get swept away in a river a lot, you know?
Mugen gets like blown up on a pirate ship and he's
Yeah.
like he just washes up on shore like, damn dude, bro, I'm in my feels right now.
That imagery of like Mugen, they do it twice in the series of Mugen almost entering the afterlife, really strong. Reminds me a little bit
So
of
cool.
the Avatar state in Last Airbender. But anyway, continue.
Can we talk UQ stuff, because that's a beautiful
Please.
transition.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hinted at the beginning of the podcast. Part of the inspiration of the timing to do this is because I was traveling to Okinawa. Okinawa is a prefecture of Japan, formerly known as the like Kingdom of Ryukyu, or like I've heard it spelled like Linqiu. I don't know the pronunciation. It's like a Chinese pronunciation. Lingqiu or something. Would have been maybe what they would have called it. Either way, this is where Mugen hails from, and when I realized I was gonna be visited, I'm like, I want to travel around. I want to like see if I can fucking learn anything about the Ryukyu. I'm not
Mallory?
exactly brimming with knowledge, but yes.
Did you secretly pitch a pirate anime?
I low-key kind of did a little pirate. I low-key snuck a little bit of pirate in there, because if you ever noticed, Mugen actually a pirate the whole time.
I got to that episode and I was like, she's done it again.
Wait a second. So yeah, I went because I wanted to try and get a little bit more. So I haven't necessarily learned the most about UQ. I have learned, I think, enough stuff that is relevant to Samurai Champloo, at least, that is worth talking about.
Let me hear it.
So, first of all, what you just mentioned is there's like a couple times where he sees these like kind of crow-like or bird-like creatures in his like afterlife when he's almost dying. So those are apparently based off of like they're called like Pantu, and they're like these like mythical folklore like boogeyman creatures that exist in like one of the native folk religions in the Ryukyu, which is like specifically the island that he is from, I believe, is Amami Island, currently named that, and that kind of like folk religion was there. There's like this festival. I can show you this video afterwards if you want. There's this like video of this dude like dressed as in that exact crow costume, like chasing a girl down the street, and she's like crying because it's like it's like the eat your vegetables or the Pontu will kill you, like that
I
kind of
see.
situation. So it's a cool reference to his like background that they keep appearing every time he's like almost dying, um, which is really cool. Um, Other details that are relevant to the series. There's this phenomenal Tumblr. I was not trying to do my research through Tumblr. There's this Tumblr. It hasn't been updated since like 2015. It has like every fact that you would ever want about like the Ryukyu and Samurai Champloo. Drialin22. Look him up. But one of the
We can
things
include
this
a
helps.
link in the episode description.
100% will be including a link specifically to this post because it cleared up some stuff that I think I'm not sure how much common knowledge it is for like the Japanese viewer watching the show, but I think is like definitely context lost on the native viewer. Essentially in Mugen's like backstory episode where he meets all his like old pirate buddies and
Yes.
like he's
Are they
getting like
buddies?
set up.
You know, but yes.
They just grew up in the same area, I guess. Like on
His
their
other
friends,
like
but
Oliver Twist-esque like orphan
yeah,
ruffians.
the other ruffians. He like they mentioned that basically his upbringing was shaped by the fact that like they were in like a penal colony and they were just like born there, so there were all these like criminals and everything being like sent there, but they're just like
They're criminals by birth, essentially.
yeah, essentially like they're Javert, like they're born in the jail type of thing. Like that's kind of the vibe. This has led to the misconception by some people who've watched the series that like Japan at the time was using like the Kingdom of Ryukyu as a I didn't say that, sorry. So Okinawa as a prefecture used to be a kingdom that was separate. It was not part of Japan. That's the I think you do that, but I realized I didn't say that.
No, good context, yes.
Yes. So they were like kind of and they were trading a lot with like China and stuff like that. And they didn't have the same like strict laws about like no foreigners. Led to a lot of piracies, like boats coming from all over and like interaction with Okinawa Ryukyu in a way that like mainland Japan wasn't getting that interaction. But the it has led to the misconception of the series that like mainland Japan was sending their criminals to Ryukyu. That wasn't happening. That would have been like a huge scandal because they were like still kind of different. They were like contested independence at that point. Like it would have been pretty indeed. This was there was a historical thing of within the Ryukyu, because there were multiple islands in the Ryukyu and tribes that like united at a certain point to become the kingdom, and then they were sending criminals from like the main island to like one of the side islands, which is like where Mugen probably grew up. So it's just interesting because it's like to me it's just like reinforcing the theme over and over again of like there's no kings, like everywhere you go, like every ruler is just another bully, another gang leader, like they're just so he wasn't even necessarily like suffering in the hands of mainland Japan as much as he was in that way. So that was interesting. Yeah, sorry. I'm just spewing all my like fun facts about
I like history time
Mugen.
with Mallory. I'm interested.
It's cool.
It to me it reminds me the most of like Australia and Australia's history as a penal colony. Like it's like if you send all the criminals to Australia and then you have like years and years of propaganda about that decision and you treat like Australians very poorly and then you have like a bad it's the thing of like I'm gonna assign you a label and then you're gonna become the label because of the circumstances of the label.
Yes.
Right? And so Mugen becomes a outlaw
Vagabond.
and a criminal and a great fighter because he is born and assigned the label of, a Ryukyu pirate, I guess would be the closest term.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think this is a really interesting idea that I've been having because we watched like a short film YouTube thing that was like 7 minutes long a couple weeks ago called We Cool,
Mhm.
that was about furries, and in that I was like talking about how I like seeing depictions of trans women that are like going against all the things that trans women are supposed to do, like, speaking with a deep voice, like talking, like rambling about, special interest war movies,
Sure.
not necessarily like dressing up, like doing their like thesis, like and having that kind of like refreshing of like, I occasionally like the depiction of a trans woman that's like leaning into certain things that are not necessarily like
The
kind of the
perfectly
things that,
transitioned,
yeah,
like passing as someone who is born the gender they want to be in, like the perfectly put together trans woman, right?
exactly. And I think there's like an element that's like it's almost like leaning into the bad things that people would say about you, or leaning into the
Mm-hmm.
like negative stereotype. um I think that really like carried into my like reading of Mugen in this watch, in the sense of like, because Mugen is like a character that I think resonates with like a lot of people, and I think that, to me, I feel like there is like a strong reading of him as that, of like this is like basically every I don't okay, I said I don't want to generalize too much, but I said
Go
the
for
word
it.
every. But
Sure.
like, historically, when you want to marginalize a racial or ethnic group, you say that they're stupid, you say that they're uncivilized, they're messy, they're slobbish,
Right.
they're
Dangerous.
disorganized, they're just kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And Mugen like leans into all of that super hard, because the reality is like being kind of like disorganized and messy and slobbish are like human traits, and in any
Mm-hmm.
given population of people, there are going to be people who are like that. They're going to be people who are like improvisers that don't want to like learn and like want to march to the beat of their own drum.
Mm-hmm.
um and I think that is like a lot of the power of him in like any situation, is he's like leaning into all the worst vices, but because he's leaning so deep into it, it's like, people have no choice but to like reckon him. Like, he completely upsets any societal structure, and he's like, that he can't be.
I'm gonna become
Yeah,
the island trash that you expect me to be, but I'm gonna become so
exactly.
damn good at it that I can win any fight with my sandal kicks and my breakdancing fighting.
Exactly. It's like, and because then if you have someone like Jin, and like
Mm-hmm.
Jin, like, I don't know, spills a soup on his shirt, and then they'd be like, Jin, you're not. This is not befitting of a samurai. And he would be like,
I am
"Oh
sorry,
no, my
master.
honor!" And he would like fix it and never spill his soup again. And he would like train his like muscles so he would never drop it. They don't. Nothing like that could ever work on Mugen. Like, you can't pressure Mugen to be more civilized, because he's like, well, yeah, I'm not civilized. Like, what do you want? Um, is very cool, and I like that, and that's
Can
cool.
I ask you one quick question before we wrap up
Yes.
here or get close to wrapping up?
Mm.
Did you watch the dub or the sub?
I watched the sub this time
Mm-hmm.
because I have watched the dub in the past. My first watch was the dub, and yeah, I wanted to like pick up on accents and cultural references and stuff. I feel like that's
Right.
like part of the thing. I'm more likely to watch sub if it's an anime that we're watching for this show, because I'm like, just in case I need to like add context
Some
for like
language context and clarification. No, I appreciate that.
XYZ scene. Yeah, how about you?
I went into it expecting it to be like the Bebop dub, which is often put on a pedestal as like the best dub of all time.
Mm,
I started with the sub, and then I was like, "All right, Sam, you're going to switch to the dub, and you're going to do some of this dub and some of this sub to see both." And I didn't like the dub, and I didn't like the dub
yeah,
specifically because of Mugen, and I thought that it was like
me
it
too.
made him too over the top, where I thought that the sub was a little bit subtler with what you're talking about in terms of him being like, he is a ruffian, he is an outlaw, he is like a slob, but he is something about that performance in Japanese. I thought that it like sold him as more than just what you expect, right? And so that the moments where Mugen is in his own way honorable, I thought came across better in the sub. So I watched like 3/4 of the show sub.
Mm. Yeah, no, I appreciate that takeaway. My thing that I've always had with the dub is that Steve Blum is too distracting for me. Like, he's Spike, so that makes him not Mugen because they're too different from each other. And I just hear Spike pretending to be Mugen when I hear him talk, which is kind of. But I mean, that take is also probably definitely helpful. So good. My only notes that I wrote for this, by the way, I had that link to the Tumblr post I just mentioned, and then I had I wrote down the joke where and this is kind of it gets across fully in English, I think, but this was kind of a Japanese joke where like Fu starts talking about like memories and stuff like that, and Mugen's like, "What's going on? What is she doing?" And Jin goes, "She's being centimeter." And he's like,
No,
"What is
that
that?" He's like,
yeah, I like that. In the sub, I felt like that. I knew they were talking about sentimentality or being sentimental, but I didn't know if there was like a pun there I was missing. I always assume when language is specifically pointed out
yeah.
in like a subbed anime, I'm like, oh, there's some this character looks like this character or it sounds like this, like kind of thing to it.
Well, I think centimeter and they're katakana they're like using the English loan words, so it does pretty much work. But I think they sound even more like senchimeta and senchimentaru. Like they sound even more similar. I think maybe
they sound similar
in
English too, right? Yeah,
they do, right? Yeah. So, but yeah, like it is the exact same joke. But yeah, he's just being
well,
like,
Mugen going, okay.
He's like,
He doesn't know.
He's like, and then Jin describes it is like, "What's that?" And he's like, "It's a new emotion that they've discovered in women in Europe.
It's a sickness for women that they get. It's like saying that she has the vapors. Like it's insane."
Yeah, they're talking about it like hysteria. They're just like, yeah, like, really good. I love their like few bonding moments of like not understanding her. It's really really good. Oh man, so much good stuff.
A lot of good stuff.
Just to plugging the Ryukyu Mura, the Ryukyu village. If you ever visit Okinawa, check it out. It's a good day. There's the Asa, which is like their traditional dance. That's what I was really paying attention to because I was like, I wonder if there's like, you know, Mugen is breakdancing and doing fucking capoeira and shit like that, which is not Ryukyu. But they do Asa, and I watched like a couple other types of like traditional performance where a lot of stomping. There's this one woman who was like whistling, and it was so loud, and she was so good at whistling. It sounded so good. It was really cool. A lot of banging on drums, like cool little war fight songs that they were doing in this traditional performance. Cool place. Checked it out. Everyone was really nice. They were giving out free tea, and then I drank some, and the old lady was like, "Get some more tea," and I was like, "Oh, this is good. This is a fucking good spot to be at." But yeah, that's all I got to say about that. I think Sam.
I have one more thing that I have to shout from the rooftops before we go into ranking, which my actual secret favorite episode of Samurai Champloo is when every episode ends, because I think the ending theme to this series it's become my entire personality. It is so good. It's like a little reminder that no matter how goofy it gets, or no matter how aimless Jin, Mugen, and Fu's journey seems, there is like an emotional backbeat to the entire series that is this like girl without a home and found family and this and that. I think that piece of music is so tremendous, and I have listened to it probably over 50 times in this past week, while like both never skipping it, watching the episodes, and then in my day-to-day just being like, I want to hear that. It's like crooning, like the vocals are so good of the artist Minmi. It's unbelievable. And I had to shout that out before we get into the ranking because I love it.
It is absolutely beautiful. I'm really glad to hear you guys share it because I also adore that. I mean, like, music in general, like, we talk about Ninja is the fucking opening, like, the strong like the edge of a samurai sword, the mental play kung fu fish. Man, so good. Like, as soon as you hear that beat start, you're like, I'm about to have a good day.
Well, that, like, I don't think it's a wood block, but it sounds like a wood block that, like, like it's just like iconic. And yeah,
So
that the
good.
soundscape of Samurai Champloo, not enough can be said about it. Like
Mm-hmm.
it is incredible.
There's also the ending. There's a couple of like alternate endings they do that are also really
Yes.
good. The ending to the finale, San Francisco with
Mm-hmm.
fucking Midi Karnika, fire, and you're just watching them
Incredible.
all like walk along different like nice pathways.
I sent you a
Kind of
message at one
aimlessly.
point where I was like, of course they gave the baseball episode its own song because they knew they had made Fire they
They knew they hit
discovered
a home
Fire
run.
2 with the baseball episode.
It's so good. Man, I love Samurai Champloo. It's
I do too.
awesome. It's
Now
really good.
Mallory,
Oh,
oh, go ahead.
I forgot to mention what Champloo is.
Oh
I think
yeah.
so. I've been saying Champloo this whole time. I think that it's Champloo.
Champloo. Yeah.
I think everyone universally overcorrected and started saying Champloo
Well, because it
because
sounds more like alliteration with samurai, right? Samurai Champloo as opposed to Champloo
that
in
would
English.
that's probably why. That
Yeah.
probably makes sense. Yeah. The food is called champuru. It is a like stir fry dish basically. Have you ever had Goya or like bitter melon before?
No.
Okay, so it's this very bitter melon. Cook it up, put a ton of salt on it. I've had versions with like less where they like cooked it more thoroughly, but I like the cheaper, saltier one. Was really really good.
Mm-hmm.
They put like eggs, tofu, pork, mwah, and it's a stir fry dish, and it's about like fusing different stuff, and that's what the series is like a
Right.
fusion dish.
I think we even
So
you or me or one of us said like that it's the Watanabe like stew of just like
yeah, you said
I
that
gotta talk
definitely.
about graffiti. I gotta talk about hip hop and beatboxing.
Absolutely. And it's also it works really well because like yeah, the word samurai is like Japanese, very like Edo, and then the word Champloo is like Okinawan. Um so it's like yeah, you just got Jin and Mugen, like that's the show. Cool.
Cool. Big fan.
Hey Sam.
Now Mallory, you may think that we're about to have a very like a 2 second ranking conversation here, right? Of like, oh, what's Sam gonna rank it like Samurai Champloo? But I had a wrinkle I wanted to throw in here, just a little bit of extra conversation now that we're wrapping up here.
Mm.
Not only like where does this rank for me? It's pretty obvious. It doesn't even have to be said, but we'll get to it. But where does this rank in the Shinichirō Watanabe verse? And I want to hear your opinion
Ooh.
and my opinion. And I'm just going to run through some shows with you, at least the ones that I know that we have both seen, right?
Mm.
So, starting in the future, and let's work our way back, because I think it's going to be a more difficult conversation as we go further back. Carol and Tuesday. I think, it's cute.
It's cute.
It's cute. I didn't finish it. You finished it. I like got halfway through and I was like, I'm okay.
Yeah, you were okay. And you
Yeah.
were right to stop. I mean,
That's too
I
bad.
didn't get too much more out of it. Yeah, it was a little bit upsetting. I was so excited for it, man, and just really dead on arrival. I don't know, maybe I'll revisit it one day, but yeah, that's
Champloo
safe in
better.
the lower end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Space Dandy. What is your history of Space Dandy? I don't even remember.
I've watched very few episodes. I think I was like I didn't like where it was going pretty early on. Because I like Cowboy Bebop too much, and I think like in a way that I think Cowboy Bebop overshadows a lot of people's Samurai Champloo experience and makes it so they kind of enjoy it. I
Mm-hmm.
fully let that happen to me with Space Dandy, and I was like, I can't. This is black licorice to me because they're back in space, but they're not doing Cowboy Bebop stuff.
They're doing different space. They're doing like Flash Gordon
Yeah.
space. Yeah, no, I agree. I like Champloo better. However, the back half of Space Dandy, like I think a lot of people dropped it after the first chunk of episodes, and they took a break and they made another chunk. There's a lot of good like weird episodic episodes. And I think that like Space Dandy gets better the longer it goes and right up to the end. But
Yeah.
not my favorite. Not Champloo much better. Zonkyo no Terror, I don't think you've seen. Terror in
not.
Resonance.
I think that's the last one that I haven't seen.
It's pretty good. It's got a really great sequence where two characters ride on a motorcycle and some Icelandic music plays. It's another Yoko Taro. It's another Yoko Kanno collaboration, and she's
Ooh,
doing like Icelandic music, and it's really neat and a cool vibe.
sick.
It's not better than Samurai Champloo. Kids on the Slope. I haven't seen it.
It's really good. Not better than Samurai Champloo. I
Really?
really like
I
it.
thought that was your favorite.
I really like it. I'd have to rewatch it. It's really emotional. It's just a different. I think for me, like it is. That's the point where it's like personal preference. Like I don't think it's like Kids on the Slope doing anything wrong as much as it is like me just really having a strong preference for these like stretched out episodic explorations of different characters, like loose plot, and then it suddenly and you get caught in the Venus flytrap right at the end, and you're like,
Of
wait, all this
emotion.
mattered.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll visit it one day.
yeah.
I look forward to it.
Yes, definitely.
And yeah, I think that's it. No, that isn't it. So yeah, Samurai Champloo is as good as Samurai Champloo, sure. But there's like he did like an older show, like in the '90s. I feel like Watanabe, right? Like I guess it's of course, Macross Plus, so easily forgotten. I know you and I both big Macross fans. That's a coin flip there.
Oh man,
Yeah.
Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen. What am I gonna choose?
Hey, now, I think Macross Plus does have its fans, and I know for a fact you and I have both watched it because a friend of ours showed it to us in high school, and we were like, I don't know what Macross is.
I'm being pretty mean by comparing it to Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen. I just want to talk about we're dancing even more around the question, which is Cowboy
100%.
Bebop versus Samurai Champloo. That's the only real question that's been here the entire time.
It's a tough question. I thought going into this, there would be no way that I would like this more than Cowboy Bebop.
Mm-hmm.
I love Cowboy Bebop. I love the Cowboy Bebop movie. I love those characters. I absolutely adore that music. Like Yoko Kanno injected into my veins. I don't know. I don't have an answer. Here's an anticlimax for you, Mallory. The
Oh,
samurai you've been seeking the whole time is old and frail, and you can't slug him. I don't know the answer. Like I don't like. It is so much closer than I ever realized, and I think that Samurai Champloo's status as like the younger brother to Bebop is unfair because I think it is
wow.
a coin flip between the two.
To use a Samurai Champloo reference.
To use a Samurai Champloo reference, exactly. You're picking up what I'm
It's
putting
a good
down.
piece of writing there, man.
Yeah.
I agree. I think they're of equal standard. I could not fault someone for picking either one. I think for me, like having watched both of these at similar times, I think I know in my heart of hearts, like it's Cowboy Bebop for me, and I think that is just a pure genre preference. Like I just
Mm-hmm.
like cowboys, and I like space, and I like
Jazz.
the,
Do you
Cowboy
like
Bebop
jazz?
jazz. Do you like jazz, kid? Cowboy Bebop nails a setting that
Mm-hmm.
so much space stuff like flirts with, and then goes in a stupid like the soul of the Allspark direction with that I'm not about nearly as much. Cowboy Bebop just nails, but I mean. I do love me some Samurai Champloo. We are definitely gonna have to rewatch and put these head to head and see which one is truly the winner in
I agree.
2026.
I
Um,
where my head's at right now, having just finished Champloo, and of course it's got the recency bias for like easily because I've not rewatched most of Bebop for a long time. I also we'll go and revisit old episodes and the movie. I've seen the movie a whole bunch of times. I love the movie. Um, that I think that Speak Like a Child Bebop episode punches above any individual episode of Champloo. Like I think that my favorite moment that Watanabe has directed is that videotape conversation with your past self. Like, I think just like it's an amazing sci-fi concept, and it's beautiful, and
Mm-hmm.
I will cry if I talk about it too much right now. Um, I think on like a average enjoyment of an episode, there's more Bebop episodes I dislike than Champloo episodes, I think.
Yeah, no, we'd have. That's why I'm like, I feel like I can't make a confident declaration until we've reviewed the tapes. Like, I think we
Mhm.
gotta, that's definitely upcoming on the Nobody Leaves podcast.
Yes.
We gotta get into some
And my
Bebop.
tastes have changed. Maybe I'll like the more episodic Bebop. Like Bebop I liked back in the day despite it being episodic, because I am generally a plot guy. Like I love a season arc. I love
Mm-hmm.
like peppering in and foreshadowing and it all tying together into a nice neat bow. But it's closer than it thinks, than people think and people say. Samurai Champloo, Skong Watch, easiest decision of all time.
Sharp like an edge in my samurai sword. I'm trying to. I started fucking with it, so I was like, I don't want to get copyrighted.
For a second, I was sitting there like as you were doing that, and suddenly it's like my mind is older. Like I got into like visualizing the realism in my life and actuality. Fuck, like I started getting into like New York state of mind for a second. I was like, wait, no, Sam, stop.
Amazing. Well,
um,
Sam,
well,
that was
Mallory,
really fun. That was
yeah,
fun talking about it. We're almost at 2 hours.
that's
Could
fine.
you tell me what we are about to get into next week? I'm very excited.
Mallory, in our long list of Watanabe projects that we just had and went through, right? One was left out. It's a series that I've heard nothing but bad things about, but I have not watched. And I don't want to have an opinion on something that is not my own, right? I think we need to like launch ourselves into the future and take a look. We're gonna it's a double up week. We're going back to back here. Let's take a look at Lazarus, Shinichirō Watanabe's most recent project from last year. It's 13
Whoa.
episodes. It's a modern anime. Is it good? I suspect not, but I haven't seen any of it.
The devil is with us. That's it. I didn't think he was making like
Anime still?
animes
He's
anymore.
still making stuff.
That's
The
crazy.
fact that you heard
Uh,
nothing about it, and I also heard nothing about it, and we're both a little bit plugged into this medium, probably tells us some things. Again, I've heard through the grapevine bad things, but it will be interesting.
it's a red flag, much like the red hells of Lazarus that Lazarus do roam. I wonder what's gonna happen in in this anime, Sam.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I wonder too, Mallory. I haven't seen it. I don't know.
I don't know anything about it. I want to try and make
I
a
know it's about a
prediction.
disease. That's all I know.
It's about a disease.
It's
Oh
about
God,
disease.
are we going back to the plurb?
I don't think it's that. I don't think I don't. I don't want to set the expectations that we're going back to the plurb, but I know it is about some kind of wide scale disease that's like affecting the whole world, and
Is this Shinichiro Watanabe takes on COVID-19?
I think maybe
Oh man,
you're asking me
dog, you kept.
questions that I don't have the answer to.
All right. Well, I just want to make like one solid prediction about this because I've watched like basically everything else he made except for the terrorist one.
Zonkyo no Terror, yeah.
What is a prediction I could make about it? Um, there will be a non-binary character.
Okay.
That's a
I
real
think
swing for the fences. I was thinking about Ed from Cowboy Bebop, who's
mhm.
like the most non-binary you could get without like understanding the terms that you could use for it.
Well, there's an
Um,
intersex character in Bebop as well. There's Jin,
oh yeah,
which for the 90s is like crazy, but
I love that shit.
yeah.
Um,
I
yeah,
suspect that there will be an
yeah.
action sequence set to music if we're making really easy predictions.
Is that an easy prediction? I'm trying to make something
Yeah.
that's like I'm trying to put my life on the line a little bit.
Okay.
What's a swing?
A swing.
Uh,
Oh, I suspect I will like it less than Samurai Champloo.
I'll suspect that I'll like it more than Carol and Tuesday. That's my hope.
I hope so. I really did not like Carol and Tuesday back. I found it really boring.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this has been an episode. Mallory, great recommendation. I look forward to chatting with you next week.
Great time talking, Sam. And until then, have a great rest of your day.
Have a good evening, Mallory. Fall like a samurai.